Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our video about object-oriented programming using Java. In this video, we're going to use the data structure called hash map. So in the previous video, we have explored how to use the list, array list sort of array using the collections. So we're going to review a little bit. In the previous video, we create a class. And then you can create whether an array of strings, number, or list of objects, say employee. And then we try to use the random class in order to generate random number between this range. For example, a random number integer between range 10 to 100. We generate 25 of them, add them to the array list number. And then we can display this data, we can sort them. After we sort, what is the data output? And we also can display using different type of for loops. This is for each function from the list, get one item at a time. You can actually use the traditional for loop starting position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then get the function in there to access the data. So it works with position. So in this video, we're going to cover what another type called the hash map. Hash map basically store our data in terms of key mapping with the value, okay? So that you can access your data later. Instead of the index like a number in the array list, you can access via a key, which is depending as you define, whether it's strings, number, or any other types. Okay? For example, in here, as you can see in the code in the main function, we create an object called capital cities. So we have the syntax is hash map. String comma string, it means that the first one is the key, the second one is the value. So key here will be used as an identifier that you can access our data later using the key. Let's say the string, for example. You can set it as integer, it is fine. And when you use it, okay, we use the function put, okay, put command here with the key and value. So key is representing the country, while value is representing the city in this case. So put the key and then you can display this data later. For example, you can apply hash map to store dictionary, where the key is the word and the value is definition of that word. Okay? We will explore more when we come into coding. So here is function that we can use. Function put, get, remove, clear, assign, very similar to the array list. Function put is used to add our data. We need to provide the key as well as the value. While function get is used to access our data by providing the key. For example, I give the key get USA. It means that it will try to search for data in our hash map. If it finds the key which is USA, okay, we return you the value. So in this case, Washington DC. You can actually remove certain data based on the key, clear all data, or check the size of the current hash map. Okay. And here example on how to access your data. Either you access the key only, value only, or all of them. The case 1, string for each capital city. This is the variable hashmap.keyset. So keyset is a function in hashmap that returns you a list of key from that hashmap variable. So this case, it will display what are the key inside this variable. Okay. And next, the one function values, dot values in here, which return all value representing in your hashmap. So it accesses the value directly. However, if you know the key and you want to access your data based on the key, yes, you can use the key set, loop it one by one, and use the function get. Because capital city dot get and you pass the key, it will return you the value, right? So we can loop the key for each key, and then we pass the key, and then we can also get the value. Okay. So this is function very useful. So next, we will take a look on how we can use it in our program. I'm gonna create a file, a new class file here. Let's say I'm gonna test here, new class hash map. Okay. Let's say my hash map function. I'm gonna create it with the main. I'm gonna clear this output from the previous program. Okay. So what we are going to do here, we're gonna create a hash map variable. Okay, let's say hash maps, and then you press Ctrl space to see the suggestion. Let's put the first one, Java util. Okay. K, which means value. Let's say I put the key is a string, value is also a string on object, whatever. Okay. Let's say hm new hashmap, whatever name you put is fine. So we have the strings and the value. Okay. Because so both are string. You can put something like hashmap. This is integer, which is like a number, string as well. Okay, it is also fine. Into new hashmap. And then you put the same thing, integer and then string, right? This is for the key as number and value as string. You can also create another data representation like the key as string and the value as employee as well. For example, this is an object. It is also fine depending on our need. Okay. Hash mapped here. String, we need an employee. It's also working fine, so that you can search your employee based on the string key. The string key could be ID of employee. For example, you can sort your list of employee based on ID. So you can sort it based on the key, and then you can actually search your data based on the key, right? Just access using the get function. So let's say I'm going to use the hm here to store the data for dictionary. For example, we have the word and we also have definition. Okay. So let's say I'm gonna set put. We have the function put. Let's say the word op. Okay. What is the value of this object? Oriented programming. So if we add data into our hash map, I'm gonna add a few more terms. Let's say the word class. What is the definition? It is blueprint, right? Blueprint. Oh, structure, template, whatever. You can put the real form. You just put a very short term definition. About the key terms, object, okay, representing an instance of a class, right? So we say this is a real item. When you create an object, you can use it. Okay? You can have more of the term. The more you have, you can add to it. So later on, okay, for example, the user is trying to access your data. Let's say hm dot we have the function dot get, right? Function get. If I input, let's say op, okay, so this will get the data value of this key. So I can display this out. Let's say display this into the print directly, right? Okay, let's try this out. So you can see this is the data. Okay, so to make it more better, you can use, let's say, word. We have string definition, right? Where word can be user input or whatever you input it. So let's say I put static in here. Let's say this is a class. Okay, and definition could be something we pass into the function that get pass the word which is representing as the key. Okay, so you can display this in very simple short variable definition. Okay. You will get those data, right, if it exists in your data. Okay. However, if this keyword is not exist, it should get you something not found, as example nil. Okay. So this is very useful when you store your data as key and value. Okay. So next, I'm going to continue like the function that we can use with HashMap as well. Key set values, for example. So this is you access it by the key. For example, you want to know what are the value inside, what are the key inside. You can use those available function key sets and value. For example, this is for loops, the strings. I put I colon and then the variable dot key set. Okay. So key set will give you a list of key that containing in this variable hash map. So I'm gonna display this out, which is containing in variable I now, right? Because for each item in this key set list, you display those data. Let's say I'm going to give a space here. Display here. See, this all key exists in this variable. Let's say we have another function called the value, right? So I copy the same thing one more time to explore this function value. Okay, so whatever here, extract value from this list, display this out, right? So I'm gonna make a new line here so that you can see it better. Here, yes, these all data containing from the value, generative programming, something in definition, blah blah blah. Okay. So based on this concept, you can actually explore your data using value function or using this command in order to access data using the key set, and then you pass the function get, because get you need to provide key, right? So now we loop the key pass to I. So to get key here, we will give you the value. Okay. So that's it for the hash map variable. We go a bit further, a little bit about this keyword. As you can see here, what variable we create, we have the name age, the constructor, take another parameter, also age. So you say this dot age equal age. It means this belong to object student, access to the age of this student object equal age here, which is passed from the parameter. If you don't put this, you will say age equal age, right? This is something wrong. You cannot write it. You can write it, but we don't get the data because the name, the same variable passed to itself, right? So this is try to avoid. If they are the same name, we use this keyword. Okay, we will explore more in the following videos. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.